Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox, 8:47 on the East Coast, 5:47 on the West Coast. A runoff election will determine whether the city of Miami, Florida does remain red or turns blue. Francis Suarez, who has been on the show quite a few times, a Republican who ran for president in the last election, has served as mayor of Miami since back in 2017, but he is term limited. Now, the race to replace him in the city's top spot will move to a runoff election next month as the candidates went from 13 down to 2. Democrat County Commissioner Eileen Higgins and former city manager Emilio González, a Republican, will go head-to-head in the runoff. Now, that election is set for December 9th. Gonzalez joins us now live to talk more about the campaign. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Oh, thanks for the invitation. Glad to be here.
Yeah, and first off, I do want to ask you, for folks who are maybe not familiar with you, can you kind of break down some of your background there?
Well, I served in the Army for 26 years. I retired as a colonel in the Intelligence Corps. I'm now a partner in an asset management firm. I also served as a U.S. National Director of Immigration and Citizenship, and I served on the White House staff as well. So I've had a very varied background. Mostly in public service, but I'm also in business as well.
I wanted to ask you here, what maybe separates you from your opponent?
Well, quite frankly, I think there's an ideological divide here. I consider myself to be, a conservative. I'm all in on a strong border. I'm all in on protecting the public, on strengthening the police, on having a strong economy, on doing whatever it takes to make America great. It really is a function of, you remember Miami is a city made up largely of refugees and exiles from countries that don't have the freedoms that we enjoy here today. I'm also a common sense person. I don't believe in an ideological divide when it comes to taking care of our residents. That's not the case right now. This election has become highly politicized. The Democratic National Committee is now involved. It's been politicized since day one. And I think that the differences between the two candidates, not necessarily the personalities, because I know my opponent, we get along personally, but I do think that there's a sea change there as to how we would run this city.
And I want to pop this up on your screen because you did get an endorsement not just from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, but also from President Trump himself. You, of course, thanked him there as he posted this on Truth Social. And I'm just going to read a quick portion as he says, "It is my great honor to endorse Emilio T. Gonzalez to be the next mayor of the beautiful city of Miami, Florida." He touts some of your achievements there, calling you a successful businessman, civic leader, former CEO of Miami International Airport. The list, of course, goes on. How important and pivotal was it to receive that endorsement from President Trump?
Well, it was huge. As you mentioned, I had received an endorsement from Governor DeSantis, from both our U.S. senators, and even Senator Ted Cruz in Texas, who's an old and dear friend. But getting an endorsement from the president, it doesn't get much better than that. It really doesn't. And I remember when that happened, my phone almost exploded from people calling me, congratulating me. And I think it will make a difference. You know, the president is a resident of the state of Florida. The president's home is an hour up the road, and now the presidential library could very well end up being in Miami. So I think he's watching what's going on here. He's a very busy man internationally, but I also think that he's keeping in tune with what's going on in his home state, and he wants to be helpful. And I, of course, am incredibly appreciative of his assistance, his endorsement. It doesn't happen every day, so I'm thrilled to death.
I did want to ask you, because this is a race in Miami, Florida, so several people across the country will say, why do I care? This is Miami. Why should people in other cities, other states care about this race and be watching it so closely?
Well, because this is a continuation of what's going on nationwide. If you look around at all of our major cities, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle now has a socialist mayor, Minneapolis, New York. It seems as though that the far left can't win nationally. They can only win in certain states. but they're targeting our cities. They're going after our municipal governments. And I think that if Miami were to fall to a mayor that maybe doesn't have the values that we all do, I think there could be a problem. It could set a trend. People can say, hey, look, if we can pull this off in the president's home state, we can pull this off anywhere, or continue to pull this off anywhere, because they're doing it now. Our major cities, at least all the major cities that are in crises, are headed by liberal, progressive, Democratic mayors.
How much attention do you pay to the polling data overall? There are so many different polls that are released and they show this candidate ahead, then this candidate ahead. How important are those to you? Do you pay them a lot of attention, and do they shape maybe your campaign in any way?
Not at all, because one of the things that I found here locally, and actually one of the reasons that I'm running, is because we've unfortunately had a bout of weaponization of city government. You know, if you don't agree with the local leaders, you could have your business shut down. You could have inspectors come to your business. Any number of things could happen to you just for speaking your mind. So when people start polling, you understand that a very, very large percentage of the answers come back as, I don't know the candidate, I don't know what I'm going to do. But more than likely, what they're telling you is, hey, I don't want to say who I'm voting for because I might get in trouble. And that's unfortunate. That's sad that that happens here in the United States. But that's one of the main reasons that I'm running. We need to stop the weaponization of government, local government, that is. It happens regularly, and it's reported.
All right. Emilio González, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and lay out your platform. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Come back anytime. Come to Florida.
And I do want to pop this up on your screen. It does show both of the candidates. That runoff election set for December 9th. Also want to let you know that we have reached out to the campaign for Eileen Higgins, and they say that she will join us at some point here. So we'll bring you those remarks and let you know when that will be. But again, just hearing there now from Emilio González, the Republican running for mayor of Miami.